Hi again. This is Dr. Joe, and today I want to talk to you about workshops, writing and communications workshops. So, in embedded tutoring, one of the things that we're doing to try to help you better is we are organizing workshops within the classes that the tutors are embedded in. And so I'm going to be offering workshops to you. I will run a workshop by request on whatever relevant topic I'm asked about. If a student wants to know about writing argumentative thesis statements, I can workshop on that. If a student wants to know about how to format their essay using a Chromebook, using Google Docs, I'm the Chromebook guy. I use Chromebook for a lot of stuff, so I can definitely help with that. If we are in the conference space and there are a few students and everybody wants to talk about the same thing, that's a great place where we can kind of have spontaneous workshops, but we're still really kind of working out the technology right now. And so for the moment, what I'm doing at least is I am planning on recording a few workshops based on your requests, like I said. So anyway, to kind of help you to give me feedback on what you would like to see, I have a couple of ideas. I have a few ideas that I have in this list, and I'm going to be posting this list along with this video so that you'll be able to see that. If there's something on this list that you would really like me to review, let me know. In the meantime, I'll probably just start by giving workshop videos on a few things that I think are particularly important. So let's take a look at this list. The first set of items that I have here is different from the second set of items. The first set of items is stuff that I kind of refer to as global concerns, right? This is stuff that there's not necessarily any given rule for, or there might be a lot of rules that you would have to navigate. So note-taking styles. Now, this is definitely one that is extremely important for college students. And there are a lot of different ways that you can take notes. And the question is, what way is the most effective? I'm a big, big fan of note taking. I think that you should be writing down everything or somehow recording things so that you're not going to forget them. So we can definitely talk about that. Outlining, topic outlining versus sentence outlining. Those are two different kinds of outlines. There are also other ways to organize your thoughts, but outlines tend to be, the old reliable. I have the Toulmin argument model and other methods listed here. So you might have already dealt with the Toulmin model as you've been developing arguments, maybe in essays for classes, whether it's in college or in high school. If you've never heard of the Toulmin model, that's fine too. I didn't get to the Toulmin model until I was actually teaching. So, but that is a specific model for argument. There are other methods. We can certainly talk about those if that's something that you'd be interested in. Building content around a quote paraphrase. So this is how to build content. We don't want you to be repetitive. We don't want you to get off topic. We want you to be able to build good, beefy body paragraphs with good content. But how do you do that? And so if you want kind of ways that you might do that, strategies, that's certainly something that I could workshop for you. If you're working on an argument, you might be interested or concerned with the appeals, ethos, logos, and pathos. We can certainly talk about those, as well as the fallacies. Critical thinking is, I think, especially important in college, but becomes more important as you get older, as you move into the workplace, as you become responsible consumers. So I talk about critical thinking in various ways. And so if there's anything about critical thinking that you think you'd like to cover to help you with coursework, then definitely let me know and maybe we'll do something about that. Common electronic research sources. So especially now, in the time of COVID, we have to be concerned with how we're gathering our research, and electronic sources become more and more valuable. I mean, let's be honest, right? So, but the thing is that a lot of the time, students aren't necessarily aware of the full span of electronic sources that are available to them. And so we can definitely talk about stuff like that. You know, it goes beyond just texts, right? You've got interviews, you've got press conferences, you've got, various news shows across media formats, right? There's a lot of different things that you can use for information in an essay or a project. So I also have here MLA formatting or other types of formatting as well. And then also I have an item here called formatting for your major. And with that, it's more about thinking about what sort of work you eventually want to do, right? What you think your major might be. And then what the professionals in that field are writing, what they're writing about, and how they're writing it, what it actually looks like, right? How to find information sources in that field, how to read up so that by the time that you go to your 4-year, maybe you've got a pretty good idea of maybe the latest trends in whatever that is. Okay, so that's something that I could chat about briefly as well. Um, Composing professional emails. And this is going to be important here in college. It's going to be important in the professional world. It's always important. We have to make sure that we are comporting ourselves professionally the best that we can so that we're trustworthy, so that we seem competent, right? So developing professional emails is always going to be an important thing. If you want to learn more about that, let me know. Maybe we'll workshop that. I also am willing to workshop resumes and cover letters. I know it's not necessarily within the domain of the course, but what you'll probably find after a while is that there's going to be a collection of these workshops. So some things may apply to your course specifically, some things may not. Right now, I have a few different courses that I'm serving, and so I'm trying to develop a base of videos for all of those classes and maybe a little bit beyond that. And I think that's where resumes and cover letters kind of come in. Very, very important skill, though, that not everybody learns, right? And then last, under kind of the big stuff, is writing domains. And these are the 5 aspects of writing, or this is a way of thinking about writing as 5 aspects that you can concern yourself with, right? That you can check out specifically as you're revising: your focus, your content, your organization, your style, and your conventions. Okay, and then if we go down to the second part here, this is the more mechanical stuff, right? This is the stuff that actually does have rules. You can come see me about this stuff. I absolutely encourage you to. You can also find other resources online. There's a site called Grammar Girl that might still be going that deals with a lot of this stuff as well. There's a lot of good resources on YouTube. Okay, but wordiness is one of the major problems for writers. Okay, I'm going to talk about the 3 most common errors, but wordiness is not necessarily an error so much as it's a behavior that you have to be able to recognize and then eliminate its effects, right? It's okay to write a draft or maybe a few drafts that are wordy, but as long as you recognize that, then that means that you're going to go through in a specific draft and you're going to cut out all the wordiness and you're going to get rid of that stuff. That's great. That's a super strategy, right? But we have to make sure that we address stuff like that. And these are just various examples of things that I kind of file under wordiness or are kind of adjacent to wordiness. All right. Then down here we have the 3 most common errors, and these are the 3 most common errors I think that college students make, but also really that anybody makes with writing or with presentation, communication, stuff like that. And it's repetition, awkward phrasing, and comma errors, right? And I just want to say about commas specifically, the reason why commas are so problematic, there's 2 main reasons. One is that they are the single most often used piece of punctuation in English. there is no other piece of punctuation. You would think it would be like a period, because a period comes at the end of every sentence or almost every sentence, right? But that means that the average, right, per sentence that you see a period is less than once per sentence. Commas, there's no limit. As long as it's structurally sound, there is no upward limit to the number of commas that you can have in a sentence. So, but that also means the more often you use them, the more often you have the opportunity of messing up that use. The other reason that commas are so difficult is because they have so many rules. Those rules that some places you go, there are like 9 rules. In some places you go, there are 11 rules. In some places you go, there are 13. Another thing is that commas can also serve double duty. They may go in a certain location for more than one reason. And that's something that we have to watch out for. There's all sorts of stuff I can talk about with commas, and that's part of the reason why I listed it as its own item as well. So you've heard a lot about passive and active voice. I can talk to you about that. We can talk about what we call modifiers, right? That's adjectives and adverbs, and why overusing adjectives and adverbs does not necessarily help you sound better. Standard stuff like run-ons, fragments, what's the difference? What's the difference between a colon and a semicolon? When do I use one? When do I use the other? Right? I can talk to you about that. Who versus whom, who versus that, suffix stuff, just general typographical errors and ambiguous writing. And then, of course, eliminating you and I. You hear that from a lot of your professors, but why do they say that? Why is it that we shouldn't be using you too much? Why is it that we shouldn't be using I too much? Workshops are probably not going to last more than, say, 10, 15 minutes at a time. I would like to make a storehouse. So my plan is, if you have anything that you want me to deal with, let me know and we'll deal with it right away. And I can just do a workshop whenever, right? If I get 5 different people who tell me to do 5 different workshops, then we've got 5 different workshops scheduled. But after that, once I get through those, I'm also going to work on the rest of the stuff on this list. And so eventually the hope is that I can have a nice bank of videos that when you come to me asking a question, I can say, hey, maybe you should see me answer this question in this video or that video. So again, this is new for everybody though. So bear with me, bear with us, right? And thank you very much from everybody here at CSN and everybody in the Centers for Academic Success. And good luck this semester. Bye-bye.